Episode 13. Mysteries and Caffeine. Paul, a sincere witness. 3 renowned scientists, Papaia, Banani, Ravioli, and their assistant Igor work at the Nasal Observatory. Papaia remembers that the flight for the conference is in 2 hours. But when they arrive at the airport, he realizes that he hasn't paid for the ticket, and they miss the flight. Ravioli uses Papaia's card in a suspicious ATM, and the bank blocks it. Moreover, with their excessive open and broken luggage, they cause chaos wherever they go. The scientists are now stranded at the airport. We're at the airport in the waiting area. It's already midnight. Banani has improvised beds with the numerous suitcases. Ravioli is using his last coins to buy chocolate from the vending machine. Papaia. I took a look at Ravioli's book. It seems that Paul is the main witness, according to the author. Banani. I read something too. It seems that Paul, by his own admission, was a persecutor of Christians. But after meeting what he himself calls the risen Jesus, he converts. Papaia. Maybe he was lying? Banani. And why would he have done that? Papaia. True. He didn't gain anything from it, but on the contrary, he was persecuted because of his testimony. Igor. Paul didn't gain anything from his testimony, so he surely wasn't lying. Not exactly like Ravioli did with his resume here at Nassau. Hallucinations. 3 renowned scientists, Papaia, Banani, Ravioli, and their assistant Igor work at the Nasal Observatory. Ravioli accidentally bought a book, which turns out to be very interesting. We are at the airport where the scientists are discussing Ravioli's book. Banani. This means he wasn't lying about his experience. Papaia. What could explain what Paul saw? Banani. An hallucination? Papaia. We have to consider that Paul was an enemy of Jesus. I don't think there's an hallucination convincing enough to transform his life like that. Banani. Maybe he was just regretful for what he had done and was looking for an excuse to redeem himself. Papaia. Yes, but we also have the appearances to other groups of witnesses. Banani. That remains a mystery. Igor. Was Paul hallucinating when he saw the risen Jesus on the road to Damascus? I think not. But when Papaia thought we were flying with just a reservation, I think he was definitely hallucinating. But let me ask one thing. Is Paul's conversion a mystery? No. I think the real mystery here is how we're going to get back home without any money. Episode 14. The tip of the iceberg. What did James see? 3 renowned scientists, Papaia, Banani, Ravioli, and their assistant Igor, work at the Nasal Observatory. Papaia remembers that the flight for the conference is in 2 hours. But upon arriving at the airport, he realizes he hasn't paid for the ticket, and they miss the flight. Ravioli uses Papaia's card at an ATM that seems tampered with, and the bank blocks it. Moreover, with their too many open and broken suitcases, they create chaos wherever they go. The scientists are stuck at the airport. We're at the airport in the waiting area. Igor is snoring loudly, asleep in a deep slumber. The 3 scientists are puzzled about the mystery of the alleged resurrection of Jesus. Ravioli. Another fact is the conversion of the brother. Papaia. You mean that Jesus' brother didn't believe in him? Ravioli. Not only didn't he believe in him, but he even thought he was. Out of his mind. Papaia. If he didn't believe in him when he was alive, why would he start believing in him after he was dead? Ravioli. That's the interesting question. The sources tell us that James became the leader of the Jerusalem church, only to be killed because of his faith. Banani. So the explanation would be that he saw his resurrected brother too? Papaia. He must have seen the same thing the disciples saw in the upper room. Ravioli. Whatever it was, they thought it was Jesus. Igor. A remarkable encounter changed James's life forever. The same will happen to Papaia when he gets back to the office after this trip. After meeting the boss and getting fired. Basically, for James, there were many ways to make a mistake and only one way to do the right thing. For Papaia, however, there's only one way to make a mistake: by doing the right thing. Certainties in question. 3 renowned scientists, Papaia, Banani, Ravioli, and their assistant Igor, work at the Nasal Observatory. Ravioli accidentally bought a book, which turns out to be very interesting. We are at the airport where the scientists are discussing Ravioli's book. Papaia, come on guys, we're in the 21st century. We can't believe in such superstition. We're scientists. Banani, yes, but then one of these 5 facts must be false. Ravioli, the issue here is that there is evidence. It's not a matter of opinion. Papaia, that's true. As scientists, we must follow the evidence, and in this case, it leads to the resurrection. Banani, according to the laws of nature, resurrection from the dead after 3 days is impossible. Considering, moreover, that Jesus appeared perfectly healthy and healed from the wounds. Ravioli, that's true. Those guys died believing their leader had risen from the dead. If he had appeared in bad condition, they would never have believed him. Banani, if the natural laws don't fully explain reality and the evidence points to a supernatural explanation, we can't dismiss it a priori. Papaia, maybe all this mess at the airport happened for a good reason. So, Igor, yes, to teach Papaia that just like tampered vending machines and ATMs, Ravioli, when he's hungry, is suspicious and unreliable. Much to rethink. 3 renowned scientists, Papaia, Banani, Ravioli, and their assistant Igor, work at the Nasal Observatory. Ravioli accidentally bought a book, which turns out to be very interesting. We are at the airport where the scientists are discussing Ravioli's book. Ravioli, I don't know about you, but I want to get to the bottom of this story. Papaia, true science is always ready to reconsider everything. Our duty is to seek the truth, not to maintain the status quo. Banani, that's true. Haven't we always accused the church of doing the same thing? Igor, with his eyes half closed, laughs in his sleep. Igor, today scientists, in addition to missing the flight, thanks to Ravioli's book, have also lost some certainties they once took for granted. Like, for example, the idea of fitting 20 suitcases into a taxi, or the idea that you don't need to pay to fly. Surely in the future, looking back at the disasters of this trip, these 3 scientists will have a lot to reconsider.